Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Monday, August 22nd, and this is the MLB DFS video for today. So in today's video, we'll be taking a quick look back at yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out, talking about my core plays for the main slate for today. It is an 8-game main slate overall. Then going over to my top GPP stacks for today. At the time of this recording, my article is not yet published over at WeBetATS.com, but once that is available, I'll leave a link to that down in the comments below. So without further ado, we'll get started with a recap of yesterday's picks. At the pitcher position, we went with Shohei Ohtani at $11,000. He unfortunately got to 9 points yesterday, so he was a mess. Apparently, he was dealing with a stomach virus, which really wasn't known to many people, and he ended up leaving the game in the 5th inning, gave up about 3 runs overall, and was just not on top of his game because he wasn't feeling the best. Then at first base, we had Dan Vogelbach at $2,600. Got to 18.7 points, so he was a hit. He ended up being the 5th overall first baseman on yesterday's slate. Some pretty good options out there, but a pretty good pay down option altogether. Then at second base, we had Whit Merrifield, also at $2,600. Got to 24.7 points, so he was a very, very good hit yesterday. And he was the 2nd overall second baseman on yesterday's slate. You could also play him in the outfield, where he would have been a good play as well. Then at third base, we have Matt Chapman at $2,900. Got to 3.2 points. Did give him a push yesterday. Wasn't a guy that really helped us, but wasn't a guy that majorly hurt us either yesterday. Had some pretty good history going into it versus Nestor Cortez. Just did not end up working out for him. Then last but not least, we had Kyle Schwarber in the outfield at $3,200. Got to 18.4 points, so he was a hit as well. So we ended up having 3 hits yesterday, 1 push, and then kind of that really bad miss at the pitcher position. If you had a little bit different pitcher, or you were able to hit one of the guys that did end up panning out, which was a little bit difficult yesterday, probably had a good chance of cashing. If you got lucky on a couple other hitters, still had a decent chance of cashing as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my core picks for today. So once again, we're going to start off at the pitcher position, going with Noah Syndergaard today at $8,500, averaging just under 26 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against the Cincinnati Reds today. He had a very good start versus them the last time out, 40 points. If you get that out of him again today at $8,500, a reasonable price tag, going to be very, very happy with that once again. Obviously, he has pretty decent histories versus this Reds team overall, even if it's a little bit limited at this point in time. Then we're going to move down to first base and Albert Pujols at $2,600. And yes, you're probably saying we're playing Albert Pujols at this stage of the season, but Albert Pujols has 6 home runs in the last 10 days. So definitely a lot of upside there. He is 2 for 12 with 1 home run versus the starter today in Drew Smyly. Not the best history there, but we all know how Albert Pujols hits when he does play against the Cubs, and he's been historically good against this Cubs team overall. So he's definitely a guy you're willing to take a shot on today, especially the way he's been playing as of late. Hitting a lot of home runs, chasing that 700 mark, definitely hoping that he gets there this season. Then we move down to third base with Alec Bohm at $2,500, a guy that's been hitting the ball extremely well as of late, averaging just under 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He goes against the Cincinnati Reds today. It's going to be a Luis Ceza starting this game at least. It looks like a bullpen game on paper. They're not quite calling it a bullpen game. They don't want to call him the opener. He really hasn't pitched more than like 2 innings this season, so probably not going to pitch too deep in the game. The Reds' bullpen's not too great overall. But if Ceza stays around for a little bit, Alec Bohm is 2 for 2 versus him in his career. So there's some pretty decent upside there as well. Then we move down to his teammate in Kyle Schwarber at $3,200. Averaging just under 12 fantasy points per game on the season. Same type of situation as we already talked about with Alec Bohm. Schwarber's been hitting the ball pretty well once again. He's 1 for 2 versus Luis Ceza in his career if he does stay in the game longer than a couple innings. And then last but not least, we have Mark Canha at $2,900, averaging just under 9 fantasy points per game on the season. I believe it was yesterday or the day before he hit 2 home runs, so a very good day there. Kind of a streaky hitter, but he's been hitting the ball pretty well as of late. And he has very, very good history versus Domingo Germán, who's pitching for the Yankees, as he is 7 for 11 with 1 home run versus him. So definitely a lot of upside there once again with Mark Canha today. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $15,300 remaining, just over $3,800 per player. So you definitely have a lot of room and flexibility to pay off if that's something you want to do. Paul Goldschmidt's been killing the ball lately. You could look at him. You could look at Nolan Arenado. Some of those St. Louis hitters are going to look pretty good today. Unfortunately, we have a first baseman and a third baseman today, so you can't play both. If you want to switch out Albert Pujols or Alec Bohm and put both guys in, you could definitely do that as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to the top GPP stacks for today. As I already mentioned, my article is not yet published at the time of this recording, but once it is available, I'll leave a link to it down in the comments below. But the top GPP stacks that I do have for today, Cardinals going against Drew Smiley. I don't think there's any surprise here. We got Albert Pujols, we got Paul Goldschmidt, we got Nolan Arenado, and Tyler O'Neill. They all look pretty good today. You can mix and match some other guys in there if you really want to as well. And then we have the Atlanta Braves going against Rosani Contreras of the Pittsburgh Pirates. The last time they faced him, they did pretty well. He got a couple strikeouts and stuff in there too. Only pitched about 4 2/3 innings, but did give up 3 runs. But some of these hitters do have okay history versus him from that one game. And, he's been a little bit hit or miss, still a very young pitcher at this point in time. Braves offense is pretty good. Do not have a problem getting back to it once again today. Then we have the Mets going against Domingo Germán. Already talked about Mark Canha having pretty good history. Some of these other guys do as well. Definitely willing to take a shot there once again. That looks like it could be a bad weather spot potentially today, so you might want to keep an eye out on that as well. And then last but not least, we have the Phillies going against Luis Ceza or the bullpen of the Cincinnati Reds. Just kind of depends on how it all shakes out. Like I mentioned before, they don't want to call Ceza the opener. They're trying to give him a chance to start again. But at the same time, the guy really hasn't pitched like over 2 innings this season. So I don't expect him to pitch more than, probably 3 or 4 innings in this game. So going to turn into a bullpen game rather quickly as well. And once again, the Cincinnati Reds bullpen is not the strongest in the world. Phillies hitting the ball pretty well as of late. So I do like going back to the Phillies once again today. But with that being said, these are my core 5 picks as well as top GPP stacks for today, August 22nd. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on today's slate, whether it's someone from my core 5 picks, whether it's someone from my top GPP stacks, or whether it's a completely different player you guys think I missed. Definitely interested in hearing what you have to say. But with that being said, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build a community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, primarily MLB DFS at this point in time. But once we get back around to the NFL and NBA regular seasons, I'll be covering those 2 sports as well. And then with that being said, if you are new or current subscribers yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily MLB DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.